I'm excited to introduce the next speaker. He's a good friend of mine. We actually met last year at same time, same event, but in Orlando. As I mentioned, he's also a fellow tribesman, so we got that little bond going. But he's awesome. We really connected. We had a great time. Loved his speech last year. Looking forward to hear him talk again. This is his 6th time speaking at the 21 convention. So he is the executive instructor at the Tao of DJ Fuji. You can learn more about him at taoofdjfuji.com. He's been featured on MTV. He's been coaching for 5 years. So please help me welcome Jared Psych Laurence.
Thank you, man. All right, so I know I'm the last speaker here, so I want to get everybody wide awake before I start this. So I'm going to do a little bit of a balance test with you guys, okay? So I want everybody to stand up real quick. And can everybody just stand on one leg for me? Let's see how long you can hold that. Put one hand up on your waist. All right. Now stand on one leg. Put the other hand this way. All right. Now sing on my little teapot. All right. You can all sit down here. Just while we guys up. Yeah. Okay. Now, like many of the guys here, my entire life, I basically struggled with dating. I struggled with building social circles. I struggled with literally any area of social interaction, all the way up until through college round. I was never, before this, considered a ladies' man by any means. I had a girlfriend for about 1.5 years, and we never had sex, and not once. And she lost her virginity to the very next guy she dated, after about a month of dating him. I was never ever considered someone who's going to become prom king. In fact, if I recall correctly, my prom date ended up sleeping with another guy in a bathroom. So I had to deal with that night. I was never Mr. Popular. Throughout all of middle school, throughout all of high school, I had 2 close friends. And one time, I remember one time, they brought me to one of the house parties that some other girl was throwing, and I overheard her telling him, "Why did you bring Jared? We don't want him here." So that was my life coming up through all of this. I'll tell you something I was, though. I was driven. I was committed to getting this area handled as soon as I knew there was a way. And looking back, I can honestly say there's a very strong reason why I was so committed, why I was so driven. I've never admitted this before to anybody. I'm going to admit it here now in this talk. The route I was going, I can honestly say I was close to committing suicide. The depression was getting so real, that hopelessness, that helplessness feeling that maybe some of you guys have felt at some points. But that was growing inside me more and more and more. And I knew I had to turn that around. I remember this pain like it was yesterday, because I think back, and I remember those times where I would see psychologist after psychologist. I remember I went to see a psychiatrist at one point. I started taking antidepressants. I really had no answer. To me, I didn't know about this community yet. It was just, this was my life. It was crap, and I had no way out of it. Again, that horrible watch of that hopelessness. So what I want to say when people ask, what got you through all those, tough times? What got you through those pain periods when you're learning this? The answer, honestly, was, for me, it was get good or literally die trying. Now, what I want to ask you guys is, why are you here? Why are you trying to learn this? Because I knew my answer. My answer was, I just want to get women to notice me. I just wanted to become a guy that can achieve what before seemed an illusion, a fantasy. As I learned this, as I got better at this, what I realized is I was trying to achieve what before I considered the unobtainable. As I get better, as it grew, what was unobtainable changed my mind. At first, again, it was just getting attention. Then it was getting a woman to have some kind of relation with me. Then it became getting the kind of girls I want. It became having choice with the type of women that before, again, seemed only a fantasy. The idea of that quality girl. I want you guys to think about this for a second. Think about, why did you get in this game? Why did you get into this community? I'm guessing it had something to do with the fact that you want to change your life to get the quality of woman you always thought was impossible before. It wasn't to keep getting what you've always had. It wasn't to just get more of the same type of results. And maybe I'm wrong, but if you're anything like me, it was to always push yourself, always grow. Now to do that, I realized when I went and said again and again, when I talked to women, I would notice the kind of women I want, the one full of quality, would very often be indifferent towards me. I started seeing patterns again and again where the real quality type women would not even acknowledge me. They wouldn't notice me at first, right? And then I got kind of lazy. I got kind of lazy, and I would only try to get with the girls that I thought I could get with. But then I realized that's not why I was here. That was stopping. That was limiting myself. It was limiting my potential. It was limiting my growth. So what I started realizing is I need to learn how to make indifference into attraction. And that's what my speech is going to be on with you guys tonight, is how to do that. Now, with everything in game, there's two types of things you're dealing with. There is prevention tactics and intervention tactics. Now, nothing's going to substitute for prevention tactics. How do you prevent indifference from happening in the first place? How do you stop a girl from looking at you as, oh, just another loser guy, I don't even need to acknowledge this guy? Well, yes, one, strong body language, being dominant right off the bat, having a strong approach, having a strong transitioner and follow-through. Nothing is going to repair that. That's got to be your core go-to. But even the best of us are going to run into girls who are just indifferent off the bat. You can't help it. So what most of the community is going to be teaching you and what you're going to be seeing out there is prevention techniques. How to be awesome right off the bat, how to get those girls instantly attracted to you. That's not what this talk is about. This talk is going to be, though, on the intervention tactics. What to do when, you know what, it just wasn't good enough. This was just a girl who was outside of the range I'm normally used to getting. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you step by step all the things I had to come through and come to realize to get those type of girls. It literally became an obsession for me. It literally became something that I just studied more and more. I would go out of my way to find these women who were just indifferent towards me. I called it the player's dilemma, where I would notice I had a 75% chance with this girl who I thought was okay, and I had about a 15% chance with this girl who I thought was amazing. That's what I want. And every time, I just took the 15% chance. I kept rolling the dice. I kept making it harder for me. So it all started 4 years ago. It all started 4 years ago with this post.